Slow clap. Slow clap for the Beef Wellingtons. You know what a Beef Wellington is? It's essentially a piece of meat wrapped in a lot of flavor, wrapped in prosciutto, wrapped in puff pastry. I'm not doing any of that today, but after getting all these ingredients, I realized that the flavor profile of this item does consist that of a Beef Wellington. I saw this video on Instagram and it was a hollowed out hoagie roll. There was cheese placed in the bottom and then some sort of ground meat mixture put on top of it, and then it was grilled. It looked so cool and instantly inspired me to want to make it in the comfort of my own home. And when I was going over the ingredients in my head, I was always gravitating to a ground steak, ground meat consistency. The way it's gonna go is, I'm gonna take this hoagie roll, I'm gonna hollow it out, cut it in half, stuff it with cheese, grind my own meat, probably ribeye steak, make a mushroom duxelle, put it all on a skillet, and hopefully make a delicious open-faced Wellington-inspired burger situation. Tentative title. Essentially, if you want to control the consistency and the types of cuts of meat that you want to put in your burgers or whatever else you want to use ground beef for, you want to do the same thing. But the meat is currently freezing or getting cold enough so that it doesn't gum up in the meat grinder. In the interim of that, let's make a mushroom duxelle. All right, don't wash mushrooms, guys. You want to take a cloth and just wipe off all the dirt that you see. So the reason you don't wash mushrooms is because they'll just soak up all the moisture and then you end up with like a water bomb. And although that sounds cool and delicious and probably fun in a water fight, that's not what we're looking for. Before I put it in the food processor, I'm gonna cut it into manageable pieces. These mushrooms are gonna get thrown in the food processor. I'm gonna blend them up into an even consistency, and in the interim, start chopping up some shallots. Pulverized mushrooms, look, you see this whole thing? I guarantee you when it's done cooking, it's gonna be a third, maybe even a quarter of the size. I'm gonna saute those with some shallots, in some butter, with some thyme, and that is gonna be just an element to what is otherwise going to be an incredibly delicious creation. Basically what I was trying to achieve was a spreadable condiment, and I think based on this, we're there. There's one thing you gotta know about grinding your own meat is everything has to be as cold as possible without being frozen. I know, it's a lot of nuance into grinding your own meat. What I got here is a boneless ribeye that is semi-frozen. I'm gonna cut it into manageable chunks. And like I said, everything's gotta be cold when you're grinding your own meat, and that's why the actual meat grinder elements are in the freezer chilling. Now, I did this once before and didn't chill everything, and you know what happened? I broke my meat grinder. Don't be like me. Don't break your meat grinder. Look at this big bowl of freshly ground meat. Now I'm gonna mix it with some ingredients. We're gonna add some onions in there, and we're that much closer to making, I figured out the name, Wellington boats. Kind of like a boat, because we're like, you know, like half a hoagie. You can like sail in it, right? Okay, so I separated this into two just to be manageable. And now we're gonna add onions, garlic, onion and garlic powder, salt and pepper, of course. All right, just for some moisture. And as you know, we never skip it, adding an egg to each. Plus flexing the one hand crack. What you know about that? These look really, really good. I'm gonna let them kind of rest a little bit because they're still freezing cold. I don't want them to seize up too much when we're cooking. Might as well prep the cheese and the hoagie roll. I didn't want to use provolone. I've been using too much of that lately. Didn't want to use Swiss because that would change the flavor profile of this completely. What I landed on was a brick of white cheddar. It'll melt a little bit, but it'll provide a lot of flavor. And upon doing research, white cheddar goes very well with thyme, which, as you know, is in the duxelle. All right, so in the video, I saw that the boat was hollowed. That's like the whole deal here. This entire thing rests on a hollowed piece of bread, hence the boat. Okay, so we have our boats. They look pretty good. They look ripe for the stuffing. So here are the layers, right? We're gonna lay down the cheese, then I have some prosciutto we're gonna put on top of the cheese. On top of the prosciutto, the mushroom duxelle, and then on top of all that, I'm gonna flatten and press as much of this meat mixture in as possible. Now, just because I don't trust myself, I got these other buns right here, and I'm gonna attempt to do the exact same thing with this that I did with the hoagie roll, just in case none of this works. I'm gonna cook these for roughly 4 minutes, open-faced on the meat mixture side, and hope for the best. Ooh, that looks magical. I don't even know what this is, but it looks friggin' awesome. That's why you make two. Okay, that's why you'd make many different variations when you're creating something that no one's ever seen before. Maybe the first iteration of it isn't what you want, which is what happened here. Now, obviously we're gonna eat it, it's gonna be delicious, but for effect, the bolio one was way better. All right, we've reached the conclusion, which to you is the end of the video. To me, a delicious creation. Here we have a Wellington bread boat, hollowed out bread, stuffed with a mushroom duxelle, sharp cheddar cheese, prosciutto, a freshly ground ribeye chuck roast meat mixture with a lot of other ingredients inside of it. And for color contrast and flavor contrast, I added some sweet and spicy mustard on top, followed by a little bit of chopped parsley for that real color contrast. Gotta get that green in there, you know what I'm saying? But either way, this thing has everything that a Wellington has minus the puff pastry in terms of flavor. Maybe even better flavor, dare I say that. I'm not trying to insult your favorite chef's favorite creation, but this thing right here is friggin' awesome. You know what I realized? I suck at eating. Every time I eat, there's shit all over my face. Not that I'm mad at it, because the amount of flavor that's running through this thing, I know I say that every time. I say there's the amount of flavor running through the recipe. Obviously, it's a friggin' recipe. Of course there's gonna be flavor. But lots of texture, crunchiness from the bread, crunchiness from the meat that was cooked on top. Okay, we got like a layer of caramelization here. Plus, creaminess from the cheese and the mushroom duxelle. We got a little bit of smokiness and saltiness from the prosciutto. Tying the entire thing together is the mustard. And I didn't even make it. This is store-bought, and if you could find it, you should buy it. The brand, irrelevant. The flavor, extremely relevant. So if you can find any type of sweet and spicy mustard in your grocery store, trust me, you should buy it. Because it goes on anything. French fries, hot dogs, Wellington boats. You wanna put that on a steak. You wanna just squirt it into your mouth, I guarantee you it's gonna be good. For that, I'm gonna end this video so that I can end this sandwich and shove it in my face hole. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you stick around to the next video. I hope you're subscribed, and if you're not, then you should. And if you are, then turn on notifications. See you guys on the next one. Bye.